Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Radowski of WeAreChange.org, and right now there are new victims coming forward, mounting evidence, a bombshell revelation from the former Reddit CEO, and also talks about a potential video of Prince Andrew himself, as the world is wondering, will Ghislaine Maxwell talk? Well, we're going to talk about that plus a lot more, as well as all the latest information that you need to know about this extremely important case developing right now. A video, by the way, that will be heavily censored, shadow banned, and 100% demonetized. All the while, the mainstream media that is being promoted by YouTube right now, well, they're running headlines like this, talking about literal, physical building infrastructure, as well as nature, including things like the wine industry, being, quote, discriminatory. Yes, all of which, as we are lectured by half-white ideologues that complain about how oppressed they are as they're working with corporations like Nike, Disney, that of course enrich themselves on slave labor. Yeah, literally the people causing slavery and oppression around the world, or just benefiting off of it, yes, they're lecturing us about oppression. So yeah, because of course we don't go along with this divide and conquer agenda as independent media, we're definitely not in the recommended box. And there's other underhanded techniques at hand right now, as I've been noticing many people that I've been subscribed to for a very long time, including personal friends of mine. I've noticed that I've been unsubscribed from their channels without doing anything myself. YouTube did this on their own without notifying me, including to what I just found out a couple moments ago to my friend Ford Fisher, who I've been subscribed to a very long time. I've been getting a lot of notifications from you guys that a lot of people are getting unsubscribed. I can't count all of them. It has to be thousands and thousands of messages of people telling me that they've been unsubscribed. And that's why I wanted to remind everyone that it's more important than ever to sign up on our free email list, where we could talk to you one-on-one without any dirty tricks from the YouTube, Google, Alphabet establishment, which obviously is limiting our reach while promoting mainstream media garbage. Again, it costs you absolutely nothing. The link to where you could sign up will be in the description below, as well as the comments, and it is more important than ever that we remain in constant communication. And also, mainly because as an independent media organization that has been talking about Epstein for years, we have to be reminded that the mainstream media was promoting Jeffrey Epstein. We've been exposing that, and therefore we have been punished, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, just jumping right into the story, one of the biggest bombshells came over the weekend when we had a former Reddit CEO come out with a bombshell statement, which garnered a lot of attention on social media, not a lot of attention on the mainstream media. Her statement made her protect her account, where she detailed a top Silicon Valley party where a lot of high-profile people attended, like Al Gore. Spouses weren't allowed in. A party that, of course, was attended by Ghislaine Maxwell, which Elaine, the former CEO of Reddit, says that all the way back in 2011, she knew that she procured underage children for powerful individuals to do unspeakable things with. Again, family-friendly show. We won't get into the details. The former Silicon Valley VC still attended the party. She just decided to speak out about this fact now, since, of course, many people are saying that by knowing that children were being hurt and not doing anything about it, that somehow Elaine is an accessory to the larger crimes that were happening here. I'm just happy that she decided to speak out in the first place, because we need more people to speak out more than ever. And it wasn't just Silicon Valley that was entrenched in this overly evil activities. As you're about to learn, it was also the scientific community, it was also Hollywood, it was also politics, and it was also major financial banking institutions that are now getting a slap on the wrist for directly working with this international child abuse and trafficking operation. Again, the crimes that were committed here are the most severe crimes a human being can commit on this world, and they should be punished for it accordingly, not just with a slap on the wrist. But before we get into that, we still have some latest details about Ghislaine herself, a major prominent person in this operation, who of course also has ties to many intelligence agencies. A lot of people are afraid to say this. I am not. Again, this case is absolutely mind-boggling and infuriating when you actually learn the details and how corrupt our society really is. But some of the latest details that we're hearing around this case is that Ghislaine Maxwell has been moved from a New Hampshire jail to a New York jail to face the charges that span for over 3 decades. Yes, over 3 decades this situation has been unfolding for. Ghislaine now is specifically in a Brooklyn jail that has been dubbed by some as a third world hellhole. She could spend months there awaiting trial. She has been put on suicide watch, just like her counterpart Jeffrey Epstein. She hired Christian Everdell, a lawyer who helped with the prosecution of El Chapo. But the prison that she is at should raise a lot of concerns since, of course, an ex-warden described the prison that she is in now as one of the, quote, most troubled prisons in the United States, where guards have been jailed for forcing themselves on inmates, beating them, and there was even incidences where the entire prison lost heat and lights for a week in the middle of winter. And out of all of this, we're being told by prison officials that Ghislaine Maxwell, of course, won't meet the same fate as Jeffrey Epstein, which, of course, I'm going to be holding my breath for. This statement should be highly contested, highly questioned, since, of course, of the criminal activities by the federal authorities when it came to the death of Jeffrey Epstein, which there is more than enough evidence suggesting that, of course, he was taken out. Now, of course, there is no love lost between a, quote, snooty rich bee and myself and other people, but it's important to note here that what happened to Jeffrey Epstein was a major crime that prevented him from testifying on very important, influential people. And that's why the prison that she is in, the court proceedings being held virtually, the decades of corruption of our institutions surrounding this case, not just local police departments, but federal authorities, judicial systems that have been utterly bought and paid for to support some of these individuals, there should be a lot of concern and a major push for transparency and accountability over this case, since, of course, Ghislaine Maxwell has a lot of information on many powerful individuals. And according to the reporting of the Daily Mail, which sometimes has been questionable, but according to their reporting, speaking to a, quote, anonymous friend of Ghislaine Maxwell, she allegedly has a secret stash of tapes that Jeffrey Epstein collected. As we know, Jeffrey Epstein held many properties where many underage children came and went, as well as many powerful individuals in locations embedded with secret surveillance cameras all over them. And now, according to this friend that the Daily Mail allegedly talked to, these tapes of the world's most powerful people, quote, will be used to save Ghislaine Maxwell from, of course, the very serious charges that she is facing. Now, again, according to authorities, there are thousands of unspeakable photos and videos of children. And as we know, Epstein used these as a way to hold power over the very rich and powerful. And if this happens, I am keeping my fingers crossed, because this would be the first time that very powerful individuals would be held accountable for such egregious actions. The most dangerous people in the world would be taken off the street, and the world would be a lot safer if this actually happens. But at the same time, how can we trust a system that was aiding and abetting in some of these awful behaviors? We're talking about down to the local police officer, to FBI agents, to senators and presidents here that are connected and implicated here. So again, I am very skeptical here, since this arrest could also signal a control burn of this important case rather than actually holding this whole corrupt system accountable for their actions. A controlled burn is, of course, described as an intentional act meant to specifically stop or impede a natural act that was going to happen. The term is mainly used in correlation with forest fires, where firefighters intentionally ignite a specific piece of land in order to reduce the spread of a wildfire. Politically, some people believe that this is happening right now with Ghislaine Maxwell, and there's a possibility that this is happening. But there also is possibility that it's not, and there could be some justice here. And according to some of the reporting by Vanity Fair and some of their sources, Prince Andrew, British royalty, which is implicated here, is, quote, feeling nervous about this entire situation. And according to a distant relative to the prince himself, to Prince Andrew, who spoke off the record, to the Sun, whose, again, reporting has to be questioned here, but according to Prince Andrew's cousin, Christina Oxenberg, who is an author, who is saying that she's willing to testify against Ghislaine Maxwell, she's saying that there are videos of Prince Andrew doing unspeakable things. And if this turns out to be true, by golly, this changes everything. So there is a chance that, of course, really powerful people will be held accountable for their egregious actions. And again, it's not just Prince Andrew that's implicated here. There's also a very big possibility that Ghislaine Maxwell has a, quote, dead woman switch, which is a term referred to threatening to release any information she has in order to safeguard herself from, of course, a very serious jail time. It wouldn't surprise me if she has this, and that should make a lot of, quote, scientific experts, people like Bill Gates, top prominent celebrities in Hollywood like Kevin Spacey, politicians like Bill Richardson, higher, quote, institutions of learning like Harvard, and the majority of Silicon Valley shaking in their boots, since, of course, all of them are connected and implicated here. And still, I have to point out that a large portion of the world still only knows a tiny sliver of actually what happened, since, of course, the truth is still widely unknown here, and it has the potential of shocking everyone. And it rightfully should, because when you truly understand how vindictive, corrupt, and evil this entire situation is, you would be disgusted by the system that made it happen. There's even new photos coming out with Ghislaine Maxwell and Kevin Spacey at Buckingham Palace sitting on thrones during, of course, a dignitary visit by, quote, Bill Clinton himself. Today, we are also learning that major banking institutions like Deutsche Bank are being implicated in this criminal enterprise, as they were just fined $150 million. Again, this is a drop in the bucket. This is not even a slap on the wrist. This is a wave by the wrist to Deutsche Bank, who, of course, allowed Jeffrey Epstein, a known abuser and trafficker of children, to have dozens of accounts that he used to pay off victims and to run his criminal organization out of, even when he was a registered offender, which, of course, they had a very special relationship with. And again, the people whose fingerprints are on the fact that thousands of children were hurt in ways that they can never heal from only get a small fine is absolutely sickening, because the individuals that made this happen should be in jail right now. And with such disgusting actions, how can people believe that there will be justice in this case? Again, Deutsche Bank looked the other way, didn't monitor his account, which they should have been doing under the law, since, of course, he was a registered offender. He made multiple suspicious payments to many Eastern European women, paid girls' tuition, rent, hotel expenses, and, according to the government, even give money to co-conspirators, which the government did not name. Yep, that means the rabbit hole goes a lot deeper than previously expected. The money aspect is just one mysterious, complex, confusing picture to this ever-changing puzzle, but it's one of them. And as we have very brave individuals coming out demanding the truth here, can maybe see the full picture for what it is. As of course now we also have Alicia Arden coming forward demanding an investigation after she was ignored many times by the police. Jeffrey Epstein's brother is coming forward saying that his brother was murdered and he's demanding an investigation into that. And there should be proper investigations into all of those things. And until there's actual answers, until there's actual investigation, all of the institutions involved, whether it's higher institutions of learning, Silicon Valley, the scientific experts, the politicians, all of them right now should be either absolutely boycotted, banned, and no one should treat these people with any amounts of respect or authority until they come clean about their connections to this entire operation that hurt thousands of children. And that's why calls by Virginia Roberts Giuffre should be echoed right now, as she of course is urging the staff and any other witnesses to come forward right now. And again, some of the actions, some of the things that happen here are absolutely disgusting. We can't even talk about it here on this YouTube channel. I don't think I even want to with how disgusting they are. But for right now, we should look at the system that we're all living in, that many people in our society tell us to trust, as a system that abuses and hurts children in the most awful possible way. And when you start understanding the system that we're all under as that, I think that's one major component to actually seeing the world for what it actually is. And once you start doing that, your actions and your decisions aiding and abetting in that kind of system will of course drastically change. And this is why more than ever people need to be made aware of this outright corruption and this very critical time where we have a window, we have a possibility to maybe even find out everything. But that can only be done with enough public pressure, with enough attention, with calls for investigations that could be met if there's enough public pressure for them. And that's why it's more important than ever to get this message and this story out there to the rest of the world. Again, there's a reason mainstream media trash is trying to divide and conquer us to make sure we're fighting against each other rather than looking at the corrupt system that we're all under. But until we do that, we won't have any justice. Please share this video with your friends and family members. It is more important than ever. For the few of you that do, for the few of you that are still here, you are more important than you think. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on WeAreChange.org.